Hey guys, so welcome back to Ascending with Tip Talks 22. Today, guys, I'm really excited about our topic, our subject matter. It has been on my whiteboard for some time. So when Spirit finally told me that it was time to record it, I was like, yay! I feel like we were kind of getting our wires crossed because what they were telling me, I was like, are we really talking about the same subject matter? They're like, yes, focus, pay attention. But it's all good. We worked it out. We are here, and I'm excited to share with you what it is that they shared with me. I think it's going to be really eye-opening, especially at the end. I was like, okay, some people they're going to be upset with me about this ending. And Spirit said, yeah, maybe, but we haven't told you anything that wasn't true. So I'm confident in the information that I'm going to share with you. Let's first start with a little bit of Tip Talks news, Tip Talks 22 news regarding the channel. I am currently, guys, for my tarot readings, doing a flash sale. If you follow me, you probably already have seen it. Where love readings, a specific love reading spread, you versus them, is 33% off. So they are only $22 right now. When you guys cannot find that post or that information, then you know the sale is off. I don't know how long I'm going to do it. I'll stop it when Spirit tells me to. Because if you've ever had a love reading from me, you know I tend to get deep. So yeah, I'm not excited about like discounted prices. But I was guided to do it. So that's what I'm doing. Obviously, somebody needs that service. So there's that. Also, guys, love readings are posted semi-monthly on Patreon for all individual signs for only $7.77 a month. So you can access all of that content as well. And then your readings for each zodiac, for Aries season, for the year 2024. All of those are on playlist listed on YouTube. I know that we are, and you guys have seen me say this frequently, in a time of transformation. So it's definitely good to look back at those annual previews to see what Spirit showed me at the beginning of the year, how something I said in that reading could be affecting you or impacting you now, or could help you now. But also Aries season, which we are in the middle of. I think we got like 3 weeks of Aries season left. So those readings are going to be helpful as well. And of course, I'm always available for personal readings of any kind. So feel free to email me at tiptalks22@yahoo.com or DM me on Twitter, Facebook Messenger, Instagram, one of the three. All right. So let's talk about this whole life purpose thing, right? I feel like this is a question that a lot of us either struggle with or have struggled with, or, you know, at some point in our lives, it comes up for us. Like, what am I supposed to be doing? I really feel like personally that my purpose has layers to it. So it's because of that, it is constantly evolving in a way that like new things are being revealed to me all the time. And I feel like those are our strengths and weaknesses. It's like focus more on this now and then focus more on this now, right? And as you know, if you follow me, that I really just go where I am guided, you know, divinely guided. But what I do know for certain is that your life purpose is not necessarily going to be your career, because your career or your job is just a means of support, right? It's how you choose to make your money. So whatever it is that you choose as a job or career may not necessarily be where your life purpose lies, and that is okay. I swear they just started mowing this lawn as soon as I started recording. It's so annoying. I hope y'all can't hear it. I did close my window at least just in time. But let's get back on track. The experiences that you have in life, that's how you're going to discover your life purpose. Some of y'all are like, what? Is that what you're going to tell me? No, it gets deeper than that, right? So I really feel like most of us just really like overthink the life purpose. And that kind of ends up placing like an extra pressure on us. Or we may just focus solely on making money or amassing money, and that often ends up as us living a busy life, right? We have things to do. It could be also lucrative life, right? Where we are making the money that we desire, but also it may end up leaving us feeling unfulfilled, right? Because societal conditioning kind of tells us to prepare or to plan for retirement. Some of you would call it the matrix or the rat race, and sometimes even family pressure can lead us to aim for a certain career, that career that's going to pay us the most money, right? Like mom wants you to be a doctor or a lawyer, or this is what my baby's going to do, this, right? What somebody else has told you you wanted for yourself all along, right? So I feel like we get to a point where we realize that we are in this rat race, but our heart doesn't necessarily feel like it's in what it is that we're doing, and we're not feeling fulfilled in the job or career choice that we've made. So even that's going to look different for a lot of people, right? For me, I have a son with Down syndrome. For up to 14 years, for a really long time, um, he was sick. We had therapists like 3 to 5 times a week. We couldn't be around people in public because of his immune system, like a whole bunch of restrictions. And so being his primary caregiver, and nurturing him through all of the things that they were focused on as far as his health goes, that was my primary focus at the time. And so eventually it's like, okay, he started to get better. He started to get to a place where he was thriving. And I was like, all right, now this can't be it. Like, this is it for me? Like, what is my purpose? What am I supposed to be doing? So there's this lost feeling of stagnancy. Like, I'm not really moving forward, but I don't really know where I'm supposed to be going, because for all of this time, he had been my primary focus, right? So this is where, for me personally, you guys know, if you've listened to the podcast before, that I tend to include like a lot of personal experience in my what I share with you guys. And that's because typically I don't feel like, I won't say I can't, but I feel like, from a place of experience, your wisdom is stronger, right? Your wisdom grows. And so most of the things that I tell y'all are things that I've had some type of personal experience in my life, or, by proxy experience through someone close to me. So anyway, personally, like, I started asking and just praying for, and really just truly looking for, like, what inspires me? Where do I receive inspiration? So in this, how do you do that? You pay attention to what excites you, whether that be music or songs or certain creative activities. What is it that you get excited about? Also, pay attention to what upsets you, right? What causes you want to champion? Are there things that you're seeing on the news or that's happening in your personal life where it's like, you know what? I feel like I need to be doing something about that, or someone, or this is what I hear all the time, especially on social media. Someone should be doing something about that, or somebody needs to call so and so, so and so. And oftentimes the people that you're saying to call, it's like, nope. How about you step into that position, right? So just pay attention to what is happening around you, what inspires you, what excites you, what upsets you, etc. And here is where you take the time to kind of assess your motive, your motivation. What is it that you want for yourself? Do you want to be of service? Do you just want to have a good time? Do you just want to make money? What's your motivation? Okay, y'all, I'm sorry. I really had to go pause to look at this man. Like, sir, the grass didn't even need cutting like that. Like, why is you going over it 35 times? I had to just go look at him. And of course, what'd he do? Waved at me. And I was like, let this man do his job, and just move around. Anyway, so where was I? My goodness. So now you're taking the time to really assess your motive, your motivation, right? What is most important to you? Personally, I felt like I wanted to create change, but also positively impact people's lives. Um, I think by this time I had lost my sister kind of abruptly, right? And you guys know I've talked about it a lot. That hit me hard because, of course, one of the things that I got from her and her impact in my life, she was like my biggest cheerleader. She encouraged me always. Like if I would be, y'all, I don't know if y'all know or not, but I am pretty much a super geek, right? I'm a super geek. I'm a nerd. I love knowledge. I love to learn. I used to love to read as a child. Like my mom would be like, "Where's Tiffany?" Where she's looking all over for me, and I'm like in the corner reading books. Like that's the kind of person I was. Um, anyway, so she was my biggest cheerleader. But like if I was taking a test or something, I'm like, "Oh, I probably did so bad." And she'd be the one to say, "Oh, girl, I'm sure you aced it." And, she was just encouraging. If I'm so nervous about, like a solo at church, because I used to have insane stage fright. I get up there, I start singing, I look, and she's crying because she's so proud of me. Like that, that's the person that she was to me, right? So when she transitioned, and I was thinking like what was the benefit? Like what did I get from her? And I just kind of wanted to be that for other people. I wanted to be encouraging. I wanted them to feel or to make them feel how she had made me feel, like what was important to me. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, so the more I open my mind to that being the motivation, I feel like the universe kind of went to work behind the scenes on my behalf. Because eventually I got like a random phone call. And I say random because this is somebody that I was very acquainted with. I grew up with. I knew him very well, but I'd already started asking God to like show me my purpose, right? I didn't want to be like a stay-at-home mom anymore because my son was in school, he was thriving, all these things, and I get this random phone call from a childhood friend who was a principal, and he said, "God placed it on my heart to call you and offer you this job in the school system, right?" And it was for a teacher assistant position. Technically, it was classified as special ed. And so my thought about that initially was I don't want to do what I do every day at home for my son through his like medical needs and his personal care, those things. I don't want to be doing that at home and then go to work and do it and then come back home and do it too. Like, oh my gosh, no, right? And he was like, no, no, no. This is a little different than that, right? This is a behavioral unit. And so he helped me to get my certification, like fast tracked, right? So that I could come in and get started. Okay. So then I had this new opportunity. You have this new opportunity. You have this new adventure. And it's offering you like more experience, and it's offering you a way to gain insight into yourself. This particular school for me, like, boy, y'all remember I said it was a behavioral situation. So like my first day at that school, my friend was like, "You picked a hell of a day to start," right? But there was so much red tape and bureaucracy that we had to go through. It wasn't like the first day of school, but it was like the second month of school, perhaps. But it was 9. Yeah, you heard right. 9 fights on my first day there. It was insane. And this was just a middle school. It was insane. So like after I started getting acquainted with these kids, this neighborhood, this environment, I'm asking God, like, okay, so basically, you want me to be a cop? Is that what you're saying? You want me to work with juvenile delinquents? Like, what is it? And Spirit was like, God was like, no, that is not what we're saying. Just keep going and keep growing, basically, right? But yeah, so I feel like too, kind of awakening, having the experience of an awakening, and also this journey where you're going through it, finding your life purpose, they're kind of intertwined. So for example, even though these kids were in a rough neighborhood, I kind of over time eventually started to kind of view them through a different lens. I definitely saw how desperately children need healthy leadership and really just love um, over harsh discipline, right? Because I had been a disciplinarian, or I was raised like that. I raised my children like that. And so it's like, okay, you can be that, but you need to balance that with love, right? I would hear the things that that the kids were going through at home, and it's like this is their life. I remember asking one of the students what it is that she wanted to be or do when she grew up. She was a little mixed young lady in the 8th grade. She was such a pretty girl. And I was thinking, she could model, or, she was a pretty girl. Anyway, she said, I don't even know, Miss Henry. I'll probably be dead before I'm 25. And that just really broke my heart. It broke my heart. But there were a lot of experiences up there that just really gave me insight into other things that intrigued me. I've always kind of had an analytical mind, right? So that's my point. The experiences that you have, pay attention to those. And as you have those experiences, just really kind of stay aware of what's being reflected back to you. Because I'm thinking about and looking at their childhood and thinking about it in comparison to mine, what I did have, what I didn't have that they now have, etc. Right? So based on whatever your current experience is, the experience that you're having, pay attention to what's being reflected back to you. Is there a lesson in it? What is it teaching you about yourself? Because often along the way, we'll likely see something that we can, or maybe even need to heal, to change, or to release on a personal level. And it's like the universe gives you opportunities to look at this and the people around you as mirrors, just to pull you into this space of thought, right? Remember, I said initially, like, I couldn't think of things, right? So this helped me with that. The next step is going to be getting acquainted, or kind of reacquainted with who you become as time moved on, right? After you've let some things go, after you've had certain life experiences, after things have changed for you. So it's like, okay, who I was initially when I first started college, before I had my kid, before I lost my son, my sister, all these things, who I was then and what was important then had changed, 15 years later, of course, right? And so the next step is going to be getting acquainted with yourself after you've experienced all of these changes. Because most of us are kind of just going through the motion. We really get disconnected from ourselves, sometimes disconnected from our higher self, or also God, and from our intuition and from our creative energy. Um, so that brings me to the next example, or the next experience. After my tenure at that initial school, I moved to another school, an elementary school, where I was working with children who were like my son, right? Who were in a self-contained classroom, which I didn't want to do. Because, well, one, they were younger than the kids that I'd initially started working with. But two, I liked the freedom that I had in my first school of, going class to class. So it was like never a dull moment. We were always busy. We were always on the move. And so there was no risk of boredom, right? So I was kind of concerned with this next assignment that would be the case. However, the universe was using that to awaken something else in me. So this is what I'm saying. Like, you need to be open to really paying close attention to what the universe is trying to show you through the experiences that you're having, right? So at this particular school, I was working with another teacher, where he was the teacher in the classroom, I was the teacher assistant. And so and of course with special education, exceptional education, and so it's called in some arenas. there's a lot of paperwork to do. There's a lot of assessments, all those things. So he was focused more on that. And then he was like, I'm like, okay, well, what are we going to do here? What do we need to have here? What manipulatives need to be showing, etc. And he was like, you just do that. You just do all of that. So it's so crazy. I was pretty much given creative license for whatever was going on in the room, the different stations, everything. And so that experience reminded me of my artistic ability. My artistic ability had become kind of dormant because, of course, for so long I had been focused on other things. Because like I told y'all, I was a nerd, right? Growing up in elementary school. But I also was an artist. I was definitely in the art club. I drew. I did all these things, right? But did nobody have time to be drawing? I didn't do that stuff really. So I wasn't really using my artistic ability, my creative ability. But being put in this school, in this position, in this situation, I would work on displays and things like that and projects where not only was I reminded of my ability, but it allowed me to tap into and channel my creative energy. And this is also where I kind of realized the connection between being in that creative space and meditation, right? Because sometimes I would be doing things and it's almost like you're so focused on what it is you're creating, you zone out, right? You zone out in a way where it feels almost like you're entranced. Okay? So follow me where I'm going on that, okay? So you could be like in a space. I feel this happens on a grander scale. You could be in a space where you've been going through the motions for so long. You get up, you go to this job, you do this job, you come home, you get up. It's like wash, rinse, repeat, wash. It's a cycle, right? And you get so stuck in the monotony of it. It's like your creative energy becomes stifled or maybe even blocked or kind of like suspended or suppressed or whatever the case, right? But I feel like as I was put in this position and kind of not really forced, but allowed to tap into my creative space, my creative energy, it also started to slowly awaken my intuition. And because I saw the correlation between meditation and creativity, I began to start to meditate and to look more into meditating, right? So like I said, you're having all of these experiences and you're taking like certain bits of inspiration from these experiences, but that inspiration is actually guiding you to where the universe wants to ultimately place you, right? Whew, it gets deep. I feel it gets deep. So as you're undergoing, or you kind of been undergoing this transformation over time, and you're also like simultaneously soul searching along the way, there are things that are going to be increased in you, like your confidence, and you slowly become kind of reacquainted with your true self, right? I have always been a person who was a leader. I was placed in different positions throughout my various assignments where I was reminded of just what a natural born leader I was, right? And so you kind of get to become reacquainted with, oh yeah, I remember this about myself, right? I'm tripping right now because I remember so many times Spirit will be like, go back to your childhood, go back to your childhood. And I'm thinking like, I just wanted to be one thing in my childhood, but it wasn't about the thing that I wanted to be. It was about the characteristics that I had not suppressed or blocked, right? And here it is now, you're an adult. It's like, I don't have time to be these things, or I don't take note of these things. And now that you're getting back to really looking for where you were supposed to go or meant to go, it's like these things are reawakened in you. I hope that makes so much sense. But anyway, so now as you get reacquainted with your true self, you really have to decide what exactly is it that you want for you, right? Not for because of like what other people wanted from you. What is it that you want for you? And for me, I wanted to make an impact. I wanted to be a light in these children's lives, because here I am. This is the career that I'm in. I'm learning things from these kids, and in dealing with these kids, that is also benefiting my relationship with my children at home. How to better connect and understand them as well. Um, yeah, so it's just something that's beneficial to my life on a complete level, on a complete scale, right? And you're able to really take a look at what it is you do want for yourself. And you're also learning what it is that you don't want. Because I had a negative experience at one of my schools where, as a parent of a special needs child and working with students like that, and seeing that some of those students weren't having their needs met, and the administration, I'll never forget her. Her name is Cynthia McFarland. Yeah. Um, I felt the need to say that, but I'll never forget her, because one day she said, as long as we feed them and we keep them safe, it really don't matter if they don't learn nothing all year. And that pissed me off, because that's not why these parents are entrusting their most precious cargo to you, right? So that you could have them sit and stare out the window and do nothing all day, right? So I already, from that experience, I realized that I didn't want to work in the major school district in my city anymore, because it was all about filling seats. I had seen that in a different experience as well, but it's all about filling seats so you can get the funding, and it's not really about the children. And that upset me. I was like, boy, if my children were younger and I was having this experience, I would probably have decided to homeschool. Like, that's how major my disappointment in that whole situation was. But anyway, so now you're knowing what it is that you do want, what it is that you don't want. Um, and this is where you may benefit from making a list about you. Make a list about yourself. Make a list about the things that you're learning about yourself, whether you consider them positive or negative, right? All of those are really about your perception. Um, but every trait or quality that you have, it's going to serve some type of purpose. What do I mean by that? Are you bossy? Are you nurturing? Are you a builder? Are you a creative thinker? Are you analytical? Are you a great writer? Right? And so my experiences over time told me or reminded me of all of these things about myself. So what you can do in finding out your life purpose is evaluate, how can I use these traits after you've made your list? How can I use these traits to serve myself or to serve other people? Whatever your goal is, your motive, your agenda is, right? And then make a conscious choice to just embrace all of these things about yourself. Not like you're looking at it like you're trying to change something or make some dramatic transformations, just so that you can see, because it kind of helps when you put things in writing, so that you can see what these qualities and traits are about yourself, whereas you may have either forgotten them or focused less on something instead of more, right? So as you really see these things and you're not trying to change it, you're just observing, like, oh, I love this about myself. You just resolve to fully loving yourself, fully accepting these things about yourself that you may have forgotten were some of your character traits or qualities here. That is going to allow you to live a more harmonious and balanced life, right? Because you are growing more confident, more comfortable with you. Example, you've heard me say it, I am a natural born teacher, and probably from kindergarten, right? I was the kid in front of the class reading to the class, right? Upside down, with my head bent over, like a teacher would. So all my life, that's what I had wanted to be. And that's just who I was and believed I was. But then by the time I got out of high school, I was like, I don't like kids like that. But then, of course, children has a strong connection to the Leo sign, right? So it's like, even though I was saying I didn't like kids like that, I probably did. I was just so focused on doing other stuff in the world And now it's like, oh, I love all children. Anyway, so we just got to kind of be reminded of who we are, um, and what it is that we want for ourselves. So, in my experience, like I said, being this natural born teacher, it's like that's great and all. By this time, as you are learning and you're going through these steps and these processes, um, I'm a natural born teacher, but that's not all of who I am. And also, being a teacher is majorly about others, right? So, in order to really move into balance, you have to really free yourself from your emotional attachment to this one thing. Um, is it important that you are just doing things for others, or you need to focus more on what it is that how it is that you can benefit, like where your fulfillment lies? Because I feel like when we focus on just one thing, or we allow ourselves to be defined by just one thing, we may develop what could be ultimately an unhealthy attachment to that. I see that in society all the time, where people, this man, he introduced himself as doctor and his first name. But that's because he has had a doctorate degree, not because he was working or serving in any capacity as a doctor at the time. But that's how he defined himself and how he chose to present himself to people, because he felt like his doctorate made him somebody in other people's eyes. Does that make sense? But this is not who you are. This is your label. So when we become so attached to a label, it creates imbalance for us, as well as a lack of fulfillment. Um, so pay attention to what it is that you are so emotionally attached to, and allow yourself to detach from that thing. Explore your family connections, and the drama that comes with maintaining those, or healing those, or letting them go, whatever it is you choose, right? Because those are also going to offer you valuable opportunities to grow, opportunities to see and really understand yourself, right? So here we have the life experiences that you had, we have the lessons of growth that you've acquired from those experiences, we have the space or time where you are getting acquainted or reacquainted with yourself, or your repressed self. We have your creativity and your intuition being awakened. We have you healing and going through major disappointments in life, and detaching from certain things, and freeing yourself from family, or family history, or family expectations, or whatever the case, right? So all of this in combination has ultimately become part of your destiny. So what is your life purpose? Drum roll, please. All of those experiences, all of the experiences that you have in life make up your life purpose. Don't shoot me. when Spirit walked me through this, y'all, and we got there, I was like, what? But yeah, Spirit said the constant transformation and the cycles that you go through in life, winter, spring, summer, fall, birth, death, rebirth, right? That constant transformation is the purpose, right? It's for you to have lived from your heart, from your soul self, having followed your heart, and did what fulfills you at the time and in the moment. There's still a list. I'm going to give you the list again, so that you can kind of walk through it. But that's the thing. I feel like we search so much for a specific life purpose. But if we're truly in, or walking in our purpose, and paying close attention to certain things, we're it's like we're living our purpose already. You're already living your purpose. And so get off of that pressure that you place on yourself. Let go of that. Like, I need to be doing this certain thing. No. Do what fulfills you, or what makes you happy. Be open to learning from that, open to having new experiences, And that's going to lead you to your next stage and your next phase and your next phase. And all of it is going to teach you more and more about yourself. And your purpose is going to constantly and consistently change. I feel so sorry for people. Not so sorry, because everything's a choice, right? But like, our family, our parents grew up like, you get this job, you stay in this job for 30 years, then you retire, right? Then you start to live life. But that's really not how it is. Or you have the parents who are so focused on their children for 20, 30 years. Well, that's too long. For 20 years. And then their kids get into their early 20s and they have their own lives and they want their independence. And then the parent who has put their life on hold feels unfulfilled because they were so focused on the child or trying to fill their void of feeling unfulfilled that they've spent their entire lives focused on the child and they don't know who they are, right? And so, child, it's such a whole little process. It's such a whole little process. Um, but again, let me give you some of the overviews in a list of 8 things. For number 1, choose your interest. Number 2, number 1, I'll elaborate a little bit. Number 1, choose your interest. What is it that makes you tick? What intrigues you? What do you want to do? What do you want to know more about, etc.? 2, look for inspiration. Ask for it, pray for it, whatever it is that you do. Number 3, assess your motive. Is it service? Is it money? Is it fun? What's most important to you? Number 4, reflect. Reflect on what is being reflected toward you to teach you and figure out what it is that it's teaching you or has taught you about yourself. Number 5, get reacquainted with your true self through meditation and channeling different energy, creative energy for one. Number 6, make a list of your strengths and your perceived weaknesses to decide what or which of those serves you now. Number 7, accept all of it. Accept all of it. You guys have often heard me say, no experience is invaluable, right? Because you take something from everything that you do. And lastly, number 8 is to see that the journey is the purpose. The journey is the purpose. It's not really the end goal. The end goal is not retirement. This is what I was destined to do. You were destined to do it, but this is not your life purpose. This is not why you were created. You were not created to simply retire. The experience that you have to get to retirement is all a part of the purpose. Okay? So, I hope y'all don't feel tricked, right? Or duped, because I was like, Spirit, is that where we're going with that? And it was like, yes, absolutely. But I also hope that that kind of takes some of the pressure off of you that you place on yourself. Just even if it's like, okay, I'm 30 or 35 or 40 right now or 45, whatever it is for you, or 50, and I still don't know what my life purpose is. What was the purpose of it? Take some time to create that list. A matter of fact, write down your jobs, your past jobs. What did you love about yourself in this position? What did you love about the people in that position? What did you not like so much about yourself and the people there, right? Just to help you gain more clarity. There, you can definitely get a better understanding of who you are by reflecting. But this is the sad part. Some people spend their entire lives and don't reflect at all. Imagine that, going 70, 75 years, feeling stuck for almost most of that time, and just choosing to let a dream die or hope die, or to stop having new experiences. If you are not having new experiences, you are not growing. If you feel like you can't learn something from the things that are happening around you, you will not grow. And let me tell you what happens in that instance. The people around you will grow, and they'll realize, oh, I'm gonna get away from this person, or I'm gonna I'm moving on from this person because I got to live my life, right? So don't grow or allow yourself to be so emotionally attached to people, places, things, or situations, because 10 times out of 10, those things are going to change, they're going to evolve, and they're going to continue to move forward. When we become so attached that we allow it to define us, and that is like all of our all of our need for fulfillment is placed on that person or that thing or that situation or that circumstance, we are going to ultimately be disappointed when something about that situation changes or evolves. Okay? So allow all facets of yourself to be explored and get to know yourself really well, so that, as changes occur, you know yourself, you know where you want to go, you are open to guidance that leads you there, right? Which is my last reminder, to take some time, whether you believe in God or not, or the universe, or what's it called? The universe, source, God, the Most High, whatever it is that you label or call that higher power. Develop that connection. Meditation did that for me, for sure. My healing journey did that for me. It developed it. It strengthened it stronger than it's been my entire life. And that's going to open you up to receiving divine guidance, receiving intuitive messages, and not feeling so lost. So that's one of the most important things. Connect to your higher power. Okay? I've seen so many angel numbers as I'm recording this, and I'm not calling any of them out. But I hope I'm not missing anything. I really, really, really hope this message is helpful for you all. If you just want to go scroll back to the list at the end, do that. But I hope that there was some value presented in this entire message for you. I was definitely excited and not apprehensive, excited, but also a little tense about sharing. But I'm going to be obedient if nothing else. Thank you guys for joining me today. I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.